Hello, everybody. My name is Adam, and I'm gonna play me some Minecraft. And I'm gonna stop talking like this because this is not how anybody has ever spoken in the history of humanity, you see. So maybe it was Fog. What was the name of that chicken? Leghorn. I tell you. Okay. I'm continuing to build a pyramid. It doesn't look as impressive as I wanted it to look. And I can't see the chat right now. So I will check the chat after I get rid of one stack of blocks. And the birds are going crazy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh, I did get rid of one stack already. Let me check the chat, and there's nobody here. Nobody here. Nobody here. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Like that, there's some, what movie was that? There's some movie. It's like a horror movie, but it's also a Spanish film about the Civil War. And the monster has like an eye on it in its hand. I forgot what that's called. Oh, look. Oh, there's going to be a nice view from the top of the pyramid eventually, I think. No, don't do that. Pig looks like it was floating. Floating pig. How? What? Sheep, why would you climb a pyramid? What are you doing? What are you doing? Get down. This is no place for a sheep. Seriously. No place for a sheep. Look. How are you going to get back down? That's dangerous, man. Dangerous. What do you think? Do you think the sheep has a place there? I don't think so. I think that the sheep, I don't know how we got there. I don't, no. Sorry, sorry, sheep, I couldn't see what button I was pressing. Well, yeah, sheep. I'm gonna like make this level of the pyramid. That's my whole mission here. I've been making this pyramid for like 3 hours, 4 hours probably. Can he get down? I hope he can get down because I don't want to murder the sheep. Because eventually there's going to be blocks in the way and I'll have to kill the sheep. Then I'll be like a sheep killer. You know? I don't want to be a sheep killer. I want to be a protector of all the nice little animals. Where'd the sheep go? Just disappeared. How? How did you just disappear? Such drama queen music. Such drama queen music. What can I tell you about? I had a lot of work today. It was connected to like one situation that's been going on for a while. And finally it came to a head. And one guy was like, can't we just do one thing? And I was like, we don't need to do one thing because one thing will happen. And he's like, but I want to do one thing. And I was like, but wait, the one thing will happen. But I want to do the one thing. I can't be any more specific, but that's pretty much how the conversation was going. And I was like, yeah, but the one thing will happen. We don't need to make the one thing happen earlier. It will happen when it will happen. And then he's like, can I make the one thing happen? And I'm like, not really, no. No, the one thing will happen with or without you. Just realized how, I hope that sounds funny. I think it could be funny. I don't know. The blocks went by really fast that time. Yeah. I'm gonna turn that down. That's way too loud music. Also, I'm not a comedian, but I've been watching a lot of videos about comedians recently, and I came up with I need to get this straight. Hold on. I need to be more. Oh, I've been watching a lot of videos about comedians recently, and I came up with a bit, which I'll tell you in a moment. After the music stops being so dramatic. Okay, so here's the bit. Oh, the music's still going. I thought you were done, music. Okay, I'm gonna check the chat. Because the music's not finishing. The music isn't finishing. Okay, here's the bit. And I need to practice delivery and stuff, but here's the bit. I just had a thought. I had like the best name for a band. The best name for a band ever is Anal Leakage. And you think anal leakage, ooh, 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 but it's the best name for a band because you 100% know what music they play, what kind of music they play. You're not going to hear Anal Leakage sing Stand By Your Man. You're not going to get a 10-minute drum solo from Anal Leakage. Drum solos are kind of weird, by the way. Like, what's the point? What's up with drum solos? You have a guy, you know, playing the drums rhythmically for more than 20 seconds. That's his whole job. And then bass solos. Come on, you have two notes. Okay, not the best. Not the best um, bit, but I think it's pretty good for somebody who's not a comedian. You know. Although, if life had fallen a little bit more differently, there might have been something like that. Because when I was growing up, one of the most popular comedian groups, especially in Canada, was a group called Kids in the Hall, the Kids in the Hall. And they had a TV show on CBC. And it was, I don't know, like it was popular among people of my generation, let's just say. I'm not sure how successful financially they were because it was on the CBC, but we thought it was really, really funny. And I watched a bit of it like a while ago, a few episodes, and it's so bizarre. Like, it's really bizarre. Like, it's a skit show, but they'll just have like a guy with a cabbage on his head, and he's a misogynist, but he has like a cabbage on his head. So that's the entire skit. Then they have more ridiculous ones. So it's like clear that I think it's like five guys, maybe, or I mean, the number of people in the troop is 5, or maybe it's 4. I don't remember. But it's clear that they all have their individual sensibilities. And it's funny also because so Scott Thompson is one of them, and he's the gay one. And I think that's how it was marketed at the time. And he has this character that he plays, and basically it's different versions of how being gay, or he doesn't use that word, but being gay, he uses an F word, are connected to other things. So that's the comedy. But he uses the F word, and I'm not going to use the F word. But I was watching it on, I don't know, some streaming service, and they beeped that F word, and I was like, "That's weird. Why would you? Where's my inventory? Oh, here we go. Oh, I thought that was weird. Why would you beep that word, especially when the guy? It's also weird because it's not like the guy who wrote the skit is not non-gay, right? He used that word, so why can't? And it makes sense for the whole character, so I don't understand why they wouldn't use that. Anyway, I got so distracted by telling that story. Um, yeah. So anyway, why did I start telling that story? I started telling that story for the simple reason that um, during the height of Kids in the Hall, my friend and I, my friend Josh, we had to do some kind of like skit for, I don't even know what class that was, but we had to do it for some class. And he was being a Trekkie, so he had like Spock ears, but he was um, just performing something. And I don't even remember what I was doing, but this guy approached us I think he was in our class, but I really don't remember who it was. So I think maybe he left, he moved or something. And he wanted to create some kind of like sketch comedy troupe, like the Kids in the Hall, with us. So I don't know why we didn't do a follow up, because I think that we were interested. At least I was interested. I don't know about Josh, but I think that would have been fun. So that's one of those moments where you're like, well, what would have happened if we had said yes? Not to say that we would have been successful or anything, but you never know. Maybe. Well, it's so beautiful. Okay, there's one person watching. I don't know who that is, but I am going to play some music. I'm live. I thought that there was going to be like, I thought I had a new release. I guess maybe it's coming up. Oh, this is new. All right, so I will play everything and then gotta mute the ad. That's another ad. That's a long ad, man. Start that again. No. Oh. Great song. Like, oh, great song, but I can't play it again. Oh, can I just do it like this? No. I don't know how to do. I was playing them all at once. Um, Before. Maybe like this. Okay, here we go. Hopefully, it's one of my songs next. I'll have to be very quick. It's an ad. After the music, I'll tell a story. Hopefully, it's another song. Yep. Oh, no, no. So many ads. Oh, that's pretty. That's cool. I like this beginning. It's weird to say that you like a beginning that you created, but I like how slow it is. And then that dramatic bow, bow. I like that part too. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, also like I was thinking about that. Generally, I don't write a lot of poems anymore. Um, I just think that it was something that I used to do, and I used to really. The story. I'll tell this story that I went into earlier. I think that the reason I didn't join the comedy troupe was because I was pretty sure that I would be a rock star, which is ridiculous. But being a teenager, I was like really sure that this is going to happen. Um, but I didn't really. I had a guitar, but I didn't practice as much as I should have. And I wrote some songs, but I didn't actually practice the musicality or the performance of that. And when I went to uh, university, I went to some open mic nights and I would perform. And, I didn't do it often. I did it like two or three times. And this one guy is like, "Oh, your guitar playing is so unique," which I thought was a compliment at the time, but probably it wasn't a compliment. Yeah, but I think that the thing that attracted me, and it's so strange how confident that poem is, because at the time I wasn't a very confident person, and I think the poetry was the way that I could be confident, which is pretty deep, I guess. Oh, we have two people who are watching. So I'm playing Minecraft and I'm playing some of my music. You can ask if you have any questions. I'm almost done. I think that there's one more song after this. And I'm gonna play more Minecraft, build my pyramid here. Oh, another ad. YouTube. This one's a bit ridiculous. Yeah. Be a weird mixture of Minecraft music and my music. Okay, I have to stop this, like, music playing, and then I'll go back to Minecraft. Mm, top experience to you. I don't like that. I don't like that word. I used it. Yeah, too bad I can't just keep playing. Uh, she slices like boiling water poured through winter ices. I love that line. Weird thing to say that you love your own poetry, but you kind of have to. You kind of have to be. I remember having these huge conversations with my friend who is an artist about like artistic arrogance and how you have to be arrogant to create anything. I, but I was really not self confident. I think that the arrogance was a mask for the lack of confidence. And I did this maybe not horrible thing because I don't think that she was very serious, but my daughter, she like randomly created a poem in English. It was just like a humorous poem, but it wasn't very good. And I said that it wasn't very good. And I was like, Adam, why did you say that? Like, if you were her age and somebody told you that your poetry wasn't good, you'd be devastated and you'd like cry. But I think that that's not the art that she is interested in. She's more interested in painting and drawing and music. But yeah, it's weird when you're a parent. And I don't think it's weird, but it's interesting when you're a parent how you need to be so careful about the things that you say because even if you don't mean them, your children might remember that for the rest of their lives. Like, oh, my dad said that. And I don't know. Maybe I'm like, and that's the other thing. Like, you never know how much of an effect those words will really have, or if they don't remember them at all. Because my thinking about my dad and thing, I don't. I mean, I remember talking to him. I remember literally having conversations with him, but we never talked about anything interesting, and we rarely talked. So, so yeah. Oh, got a new follower. Thank you. On Twitch. Thank you. Yeah, so she probably won't remember that at all. Although I have had 100,000 times more conversations with my kids than my dad did. But I was closer to my mom than my dad, but I hope, and that's really, like realistically, I think my kids are probably closer to their mom because we're separated, right? And they live with her. But I hope that they don't feel like they're not close to me, you know? And another, I could go on and on about being a parent, but another weird thing about being a parent is that you never know what kind of parent you are until your children are grown. And then you can see what kind of adults they are. And then you can be like, oh, okay, that was not great what I did then. Then also, I have so many thoughts. Also, I think a lot of the times parents are concerned about the influence that they have over their kids, but I think at a certain point, you stop having influence over your kids. And, and whatever decisions they make are like completely theirs. Because, as I said, I was pretty close to my mom, but I don't, and obviously that had a huge influence on me. But I don't think that I am anything like my mom in personality or my dad. So I don't think my kids are necessarily like me. I mean, they are in a way, but like you can always, as a parent, you're always like, oh, he's like me in this way and she's like me in this way. But then is that really true? Is that, or that just projection, Check the chat. I see. I got some custom artwork. I'm not interested in the custom artwork. And that is a scam. It's not necessarily a scam, although it seems to be a scam. And it's quite common. I was reading some subreddit about streaming, and there was a guy who was an artist, and his stream was doing art, like graphic art and like, painting and stuff. So that's what he was streaming. And he got messages like that. So that is so crazy that you're an artist and you get spam bots trying to sell you art. Like, you think that they would program them better. I think this is the first time I've done like 2 whole layers with full inventory of blocks. And it's interesting because I don't know if 1 or 2 people who are watching are both bots. One, it might be a bot. And I could say anything and they're not going to know. But that's all right. Back to what I was saying about being a parent. I think that's a more interesting topic anyway. Yeah, it's just so weird being a parent, especially a dad, and especially, I mean, it's not weird, but it's strange for me to be a dad and to be divorced. And, you know, I think the divorce was actually good because I think my ex and I, we don't know how to communicate. And there was a situation a few months ago where we would make arrangements. Well, actually, I'm not gonna talk about that. But we got into this argument, and I think that we both had good points about it. But I realized, like, we still argue. First of all, we still argue, but we still argue in the way that we were arguing when we were together. So it's like we're not listening to each other. She's not listening to me. I'm not listening to her. So it doesn't make any sense to be together um, in that way. And so I'm not. I don't think that was necessarily a bad decision. Although I was very depressed when it happened, and that's an interesting story too because my ex and I broke up. Well, she dumped me, basically. She dumped me in 2019, and in later that year was the pandemic, right? I mean, pandemic started that year, but then it went crazy. So I was dealing with being single, living by myself, not having a lot of money because I had to rent then. I have to rent now, but like, you know, it's a bit different if you're expecting to have to rent and then you have to rent. Um, then, because of the pandemic, I was an English teacher, and the company decided that they were going to English as a second language teacher, and the company decided that they were going to pay everyone the same money, like absolutely the same money. It doesn't matter if you had 20 years of experience, you know, if you had like a degree in education or didn't matter. They were going to pay everyone the same money. And in the middle of the pandemic, not even in the middle of the pandemic, actually, in the beginning of the pandemic, they were like, yes, we are going to have in person classes. And if you want to still work with us, you need to have in person classes. You need to do this, this, and this. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I actually care about my health. Thank you very much. So, anyway, that happened. So, I lost my job. I quit my job, and the rain suddenly stopped. So I quit my job because of the situation I mentioned. I split up, or got split up. I guess I could say I split up with my ex, and then the pandemic happened all in the same year. That was crazy. Um, so, what was the question? Well, I started talking about, kids and how weird it is to be a single dad because you really, and I think what would I be like if I had been, if I stayed with my ex? I think I wouldn't have been as good a father as I am now. Not to say that there aren't problems, of course, but I think that really gave me a lot of perspective. Like, And I think that I'll check the chat after this stack. And I think that it's weird, but I think people who get the kids in separation, I mean, they don't really feel that way. They just sort of stay the same. And, that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on, like, I don't think my ex is a bad parent. I don't think she is at all. I think she's a good parent, but she didn't have to reevaluate how she was as a parent, and I think that I had to do that. And I know, like, people who, not every divorced dad is like that. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything, because I'm not, but I think that was one thing that it was good that happened, because if it hadn't happened, I think I would have been a worse dad. Although I wonder, and also I wonder, like, I don't think my kids ever, because in the 1970s and 80s growing up, it was always this tragedy that your parents split up, right? And the thing that you were supposed to want as a kid was that your parents would get back together. And I think that my kids never wanted that. And I don't know. Whenever I talk to them about that, they kind of remember the bad times. So they remember my wife and I getting into arguments or me yelling at them. And I haven't yelled at them like since I was living with them. I just realized that it's not important. Like, trying to be calm and also trying to respect them. So I think maybe that's the problem, actually, is that a lot of parents actually, I think that they love their children, hopefully, but they don't respect them. Because they'll be like, well, I'm right, I'm the parent. And being a parent is not necessarily, because I thought when I was growing up, because my brother has kids, and he had kids really young, like when he was 18 and younger. So I'm about 3 years younger than he is. So these children were kind of growing up with me. And I thought that the best way of being, an authority figure was to be like very strict and lay down the law. And when my son was born, I remember having this moment where he did something and he was like 2 or 3, and I gave him a timeout, and I was like, I never hit my child or anything like that, but he was crying and he was like clearly traumatized. And I was like, what is the point of this? Like, this doesn't teach anything. So I was kind of less strict. Maybe not less strict, because I don't think they never did anything bad, And I think that's the problem, is like a lot of parents have this definition of what is bad, which is really, really quite narrow and not helpful. And so when the kids break that narrow definition of what is bad, then, there's conflict. And I think as long as your kids are not being disrespectful to you, and I don't mean in a disrespectful way like, always, how do I mean? Like they're not hurting you, they're not hurting anybody else, then I think you don't need to be this sort of like authoritarian parent, because think about at work, you don't really respond well to your boss if your boss is yelling or your boss is like making you do stupid things. Like today we had a meeting and we have these sort of like a lot of big corporations do. You have like these I forget what they're called now, but basically you have this survey every so often, and the questions are things like, would you recommend this company as a place to work? And do you feel valued as an employee? Oh, that looks nice. Do you feel valued as an employee? And so my boss spent a half an hour asking us, nope, don't attack the sheep. I'm lagging. Sorry for the violence. The sheep got away though. No, it didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, puppy. I thought I was protecting the sheep, but clearly you ate the sheep. And then I got all this stuff. Oh. See, that's not a good... We'll close that. We don't want the wolf inside. Yeah. Oh, my pyramid is looking more pyramid-like. So yeah, you don't need to be super strict to be a parent is what I'm saying. But then also, my kids grew up in a very good neighborhood with very, good society, let's say. So they didn't have the struggles that other kids have. And I haven't seen anything that needed any sort of discipline, right? Which sounds weird, but they don't steal, they don't cheat. So yeah, I'm gonna top up my inventory. Admire my pyramid in my castle. So yeah, that has been my musings on being a parent. Of course, you never know if you're a good parent or not. It's really up for your children to decide. Anyway, thank you for watching. I probably will not be streaming tomorrow or the day after, but maybe on Sunday. We'll see. because I'm spending time with one of those children I mentioned, and then I'm spending time with other child that I mentioned.